I got to spend all these days with my child who, ultimately passed away, and, I'll never get that time back. That's one thing we can't make more of. He threw out the C word, and then once you do hear it, your whole world's shattered.
It was confirmed that day that it was in both lungs. Towards the end, when she had her surgery up until she passed away, I didn't give up. It was just one thing after another, and at that point, I didn't feel surprised anymore. Like, I felt like there was no hope.
Noelle's didn't choose any of this. As hard as it is that she's not here, I'm glad I got to spend as much time as I could with her.
A rare and painful bone cancer.
Osteosarcoma.
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 Osteosarcoma. Denise is sharing the story of the loss of her daughter taken by cancer.
A little girl who captured hearts across the world.
Noelle Franklin was a vibrant, spirited, and beautiful little girl. At just 7 years old, she carried a strength far beyond her years. She was silly, expressive, and full of joy, blending the innocence of childhood with the eagerness to try grown-up things. Around her, there was always laughter, a little bit of sass, and a lot of sparkle. Noelle was determined, brave, and full of love, teaching all who knew her what it means to fight with grace and to live with an unbreakable heart. Though she was only 7 years old, Noelle's light and spirit touched countless lives.
This episode is sponsored by Recovery Alive, a Christ-centered recovery movement helping people rebuild their lives, restore relationships, and renew their faith. Through safe recovery homes, life-changing support groups, and personalized coaching, Recovery Alive provides hope and a clear path forward for those battling addiction, mental health challenges, or life's toughest seasons. I've seen firsthand how this community changes lives, and yours could be next. Learn more at recoveryalive.com.
Well, hey everybody, John Eklund. We are living on Incline. As always, hit that subscribe button and that share button. And I'm so excited. Dylan and Toni, thank you for being here. Young parents in your early 30s.
Yeah.
We're talking about glamour shots, and you have absolutely no idea what we're talking about. Yeah. No. So what are some of the things that you guys grew up with in your era as young people? Give me some movies. Give me what, like 90s to 2000s?
Yeah.
What?
90s.
How about music? What were you listening to?
Like Backstreet Boys.
Oh gosh. Do you know this about him? He's listening to Backstreet Boys. How do you feel about that? She's just staring at him.
I don't think I have any comment.
No comment on that. How about you? What were you listening to back?
My mom was like, I always listen to Michael Jackson coming up.
Did you really?
Janet Jackson.
That's an 80s kind of a thing. All right. So
I always play an 80s playlist on Spotify, and I'm like, Dylan, you know this song? And he's like, no.
Has no idea what you're talking about. No 80s?
I mean, no. I think I would be more 70s. I'm like Southern rock.
Southern rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Leonard Skinner, 38 Special. Stuff
Okay.
Like that. Yeah.
All right. Very, very cool. Well, we're so happy that you guys decided to hang out with us, and we're going to talk about some kind of heavier things, but did you both grow up in Savannah, or that's just you in
Savannah? Just me. I was born and raised in Savannah.
So I wanted to start talking about this as soon as you told me, but man, I love Savannah. It's like my favorite place. Do you miss it, or is your family still down there?
Yeah, my family's still down there. Every time I meet someone and I tell them I'm from Savannah, they have your reaction.
Yeah, it is amazing.
Yeah. Every time we go now, we like play tourists. We're able to go and play tourists. Of course, like when you're living in there, it doesn't seem like that. But
right.
It's like a place to visit now. I don't think I'd move back there.
So where do you go? So if somebody's wanting to go to Savannah, what do they got to make sure they see you?
Savannah.
Yeah.
River Street.
Yeah.
Of course, Tybee Island, the beach is right there. It's not far, but everything, the history downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you? Where'd you grow up?
So I'm from Morganton, North Carolina.
Oh, kind of towards the mountains.
Yeah, just like 45 minutes east of Asheville.
Yeah, that's where I was raised there.
You were raised in Morganton?
Yeah, I went to Forest Hill Elementary.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Wow, small. I went to
Small
Yeah, I
world,
went to
right?
Chesterfield Elementary.
Was that were you guys rivals, elementary school rivals?
I don't think so.
I don't no. That's funny, yeah.
Did you go to high school there?
No, I left when I was 8 and came here.
Okay.
What's Morganton known for?
It's small.
Just small.
It's not Savannah, so we get judged on that.
You get a little judged.
Especially at home.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it's known for too much.
Yeah. So how did the two of you guys meet? I want to get right to it. How'd you all meet?
Yeah, so I'm in the Army.
Yeah.
And I was stationed at Fort Stewart, Georgia, which is about 45 minutes from Savannah.
Okay.
And so ventured out into Savannah and
Downtown Savannah.
Okay.
met Toni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you meet? What happened? You guys don't want to talk about it. Uh-oh.
It was through mutual friends. It was a party scene.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what made you get into the military? What?
So my grandfather was in the Army, and I don't know, just trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. I joined straight out of high school, so I've been doing that ever since. So
You're still in the military?
I am.
Yeah.
Yep. So almost 16 years. So,
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Well, thank you
Yeah, thank you.
for your service. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
So what? Have moved around a little bit because of the military.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
from Morganton to
Oh, my first duty station was Fort Riley, Kansas.
Kansas. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. How long were you there?
I was there for 3 years, but while I was there, I deployed to Iraq for a year.
Wow. And your deployment, were you? What was your job in the Army?
So I was a 19 kilo, which is a M1 armored crewman, which is a tanker.
Oh wow.
So I was a tank loader, driver, gunner, tank commander, and then it's been a while now. In 2017, I switched to be a recruiter.
Okay. And in 2017 is when Noelle was born.
Correct.
Yeah. How about you? So you out of high school in Savannah.
Yeah.
What did you end up doing as far as career?
I had Christian when I was 18, so I was
Just
young.
very young. Yeah, young parents.
Yeah. I didn't, I was a pediatric dental assistant for a little bit in Savannah.
Okay.
Then we got orders to move to Greenville, South Carolina. Had Noelle. I've kind of been a stay-at-home mom since.
Greenville, South Carolina. I have been to Greenville. So you guys were stationed. So you're stationed first in Kansas, and then
moved to Georgia.
Then to Georgia.
Yeah, and then
met this amazing person.
Yes.
And then you guys married pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You knew.
When you know,
Right
you
off.
know, right?
You know.
It's less than a year.
Yeah.
Less than a year.
Yeah.
Huh? It is something when you just kind of know. Yeah.
Well, he was getting on orders to go to Alaska. Yeah.
That's a different kind of deployment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was going to be stationed there.
We're all gonna-
So we were all going to live there.
Oh.
But, plans change.
How did you feel about that?
Oh,
She's like, mm-mm.
no. Like leaving Georgia for the first time and going to Alaska.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's just not just culture shock.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like the night lasts, all day. Certain times of the that's.
The weather, like, we don't get any snow in Savannah. Like, it would have been.
Well, we've been getting hammered here by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened that you didn't go to Alaska?
So Alaska's considered like an overseas assignment.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And when you get on an assignment like that, they do a like deep dive into your medical history.
Oh, okay.
And Christian at the time had some medical complications that didn't allow us to go to Alaska. So
It was canceled last minute though. Like we had went to the Columbia outlet, gotten all the gear.
yeah, we were prepared,
Yeah.
but it got canceled.
Buying layers and layers.
Yeah.
Everything okay with Christian?
Yeah,
It was just like seasonal asthma, and I guess
Oh.
they don't have providers up there. I don't know.
But kind of a thank God moment.
Yeah,
Thanks, Christian.
For me,
Yeah.
I think
for her.
Were you-
he's a little.
I was bummed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I had re-enlisted to go to Alaska.
To go to Alaska.
Yeah, that was one of my like perks of real estate.
Okay. Oh.
And so,
You know what? I go see some moose. Some moose.
you know about
Mooses.
Mooses.
some meese.
Some
Right.
moose.
But
Alaska is absolutely beautiful. I got to go there a couple of years ago, but to live there would be
Yeah, I think it's somewhere we want to visit.
challenge.
yeah, I still haven't got to go. So I think she owes me that.
Yeah, she owes you that?
Yeah,
She did. She knows it. Yeah. So avoided Alaska, ended up
Staying in Georgia.
staying in Georgia.
Yeah, so we stayed there for about 2 more years. And then while I was in Georgia, we were doing some rotational deployments to Europe.
Okay.
And
Oh, wow.
they just became a lot. So
Where were you in Europe?
the first time was in Germany,
Okay.
and the second time was in Poland. Wow. And so it became a lot. And then just wanted something a little more stable and
Sure.
stay at home. So switched to be a recruiter.
How was that? When he said it got to be a lot, I imagine it was just a lot on the family.
Yeah.
That was tough. Tough time for you?
Yeah,
Yeah. And he was gone.
like 6 months at a time, 2 months.
Yeah.
It's like.
And you had Christian at this time?
Yeah, it's like being a single parent. Really.
Oh, yeah,
Like, the
100%.
time zones are different. Our talking, like, it's just.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
So-
Luckily, we were still in Georgia, so I did have my family at that time. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So how did that end up kind of ending where you said I'm not going to do those foreign deployments?
So basically, I reached out to like what's called your branch manager. So when you have like a MOS in the Army, someone is in charge of that MOS and kind of determines where those soldiers go in order for like promotion or improvement in career.
Yeah.
And I reached out and said, hey, I'd like to go recruiting, and recruiting is always in need of people. It's the hardest.
Recruiters need
Exactly.
recruiters.
Yeah,
Recruiting recruiters.
Yeah. So it was a pretty easy, thing to make happen.
Okay.
And so I did that, and then
That's what brought us to Greenville.
yeah, that's what brought us to
Then you're in
South Carolina.
Okay. Yeah. What year was that where you ended up in South Carolina?
2017.
Okay. And so August is when Noelle is born.
Correct.
And South Carolina.
Well,
We had Noel in Georgia. A
Yeah.
hurricane hit, and we had to move with Noel at like 2 weeks old.
yeah,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Stressful.
Yeah.
yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
Moving in the middle of the aftermath of a hurricane. Why did the hurricane have you moving?
Well, it wasn't necessarily the hurricane. The hurricane was just the timing. We would have been moving anyways,
Okay.
but the hurricane kind of
Everyone's
pushed us.
evacuating. Yeah.
So it made it harder to,
With Noel.
move from coastal Georgia to inland South Carolina because everyone was going there.
We were trying to find all the back roads because Noel was at like teeny tiny.
Wow. She's just
Yeah.
that is a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get to South Carolina, you're settling in, and how long until you started up this way, up into North Carolina?
So we were in South Carolina for 3 years, pretty much to the day.
Oh, wow.
And
We moved here August of 2020
Okay.
to Clayton.
All right. So Noelle's 3 at this point in time, coming to Clayton. What brought you to Clayton?
the Army.
Shocker.
Yeah. Yeah. So I work in Raleigh. So for like the recruiting headquarters for North Carolina, pretty much. And Clayton just seemed like a great location to, set up shop.
So you're kind of like the perfect family. Got a couple of kids, career's going. You're stay-at-home mom. My wife's a stay-at-home mom. Just just growing kids, the challenges of family.
Right.
Describe Noelle growing up. Can you just tell me a little bit about her coming up?
Yeah. So, I mean, she's probably your typically, girly girl.
Mm-hmm.
She was never had like a tomboy stage or anything like that.
Barbies.
Yeah.
All day.
Barbies, dresses, makeup, nails, all that good stuff.
From the get-go.
Yeah.
A pink bow.
Yeah. She's definitely a girly girl, and she liked to do all that stuff. She loved being, out. She liked being outside, but
With Christian.
yeah,
Yeah.
but not necessarily playing sports. You know.
What was Christian and Noelle's relationship?
She admired him.
Yeah.
She really looked up to him. You know, typical brother and sister relationship, your tiffs. But I think going through this journey that we're going through now, we see it coming out more in Christian, which is odd that she's not here. But Noelle loved her big brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They would fight, though, I imagine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They'd get into it, and it usually involved her throwing something at him. But
Yeah, Christian being the big brother and kind of annoyed. And,
I would call Christian out a lot. Christian can be a baby at some stuff.
Yeah, okay.
No would call him out.
she kept him honest.
Yeah.
Feisty? Was she feisty?
She was feisty. Yeah.
Yeah, so Solomon and I were talking about how this, we're reading up on your story a little bit and how it hits different. You're a brand new dad of a 3-month-old.
3 months. Yeah.
3-month-old girl.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got 4 daughters, and so I can just can't imagine how difficult this experience was. It's about 9 years old, and you're just outside playing, goofing around, and she has a bug bite. Is that?
Yeah. So.
Or something that you thought was a.
Yeah. So she's 6.
Yeah, 6.
6. Yep. And
At home.
it was just the week was normal. We went to gymnastics that week. Everything, just falling into place as it usually did. It was a Friday afternoon. I'd gotten off work. Everyone was home. We'd always kind of play out in our front yard, just doing whatever. Me and Noelle were in the yard playing with Barbies, and she had said, I got a bug bite. And, we live in North Carolina. It was May, so, the bugs are out and about, and she didn't think anything of it, but she had a little red mark just on her leg, and I would always mess with her, like I'd try to pinch it and see if stuff oozed out or something like that.
This face right here.
But I went to grab it, and it was just like hard as a rock.
Mm.
And our neighbor was a nurse, and so we were like, does this seem like it's allergic reaction or something to a bug bite, or we get fire ants, stuff like that. So if they bite you, it swells up. So yeah, we asked her. She looked at it. Kind of same thought, might be an allergic reaction, and we treated it as such.
Mm-hmm.
We got her Benadryl.
Yeah, we just didn't know.
Right.
And then
how long of a period of time? By the way, fire ants are from the depths of hell.
Yeah.
I mean, so we grew up in the north. We came down from Minnesota, Delaware, and my kids are out. First time they ever were outside in North Carolina when we moved here, playing volleyball outside in our backyard with bare feet, and they're just standing out there on these little mountains of
dirt. Yep.
And all of a sudden they're screaming, all of them running inside, like, oh, they are horrifying.
Yeah.
Those
Right.
fire ants. Yeah. So you guys, I'm thinking about this, just imagining like it's just a completely normal, typical, this is just what you deal with when you're dealing with kids, just bug bites and scratches and scrapes. And then you start getting that worry, like, this is different, but everything's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden you're starting to get a little bit more concerned, like, this just feels different. When did you start to go, this might be worse?
We went through that night, just, we tried to give it, 12 hours or so just to kind of see what would happen. The next morning, I was actually going to urgent care because I had been dealing with some like gout issues, just to, try to see what was going on with that. And
we went to the farmer's market that morning.
Yep. We actually had McDonald's that morning
McDonald's in the trunk. We were in Flowers because they have the urgent care.
Are these is that how you guys are built to just remember those?
Yeah.
Or is it
these are like engraved into
I would say that just because of what was happening. It's
I don't
burned
have
in.
the exact picture because I took a picture before she went into urgent care with Dylan of them eating in my trunk McDonald's. Yeah.
Yeah, so we go into urgent care that morning. It was probably, what, 10, 11 o'clock? And the doctor was kind of like, he looked at her and he said, I think I know what this is. And, of course, we had no clue. So he's like, let's do an x-ray. Takes her in the x-ray, and I was standing in the back of like the x-ray where I could see the screen. And I'm not by no means qualified to read an x-ray, but as soon as that popped up, you could tell something was not right. And so we go back into the room, and
I was outside with Christian.
yeah, so I had to call her and tell her to come in. And we go back into the room, and, that's when he said,
He brings us in his office. You never go into someone's office at urgent care.
And he was basically like, you guys should probably seek, higher medical care as soon as possible. Obviously, they can't fully diagnose it until they do a biopsy and, determine for sure what it is. But he threw out the C word.
Right there in that office.
Right there in that office. And, panic mode sets in, and you don't expect to hear it until you do. And then once you do hear it, your whole world's shattered. And so we didn't know what to do. And we just started, calling everybody, saying this and that. And
he told us to go to the hospital right away. And Noelle had a Girl Scout party that day at Build-A-Bear in the mall. And she was looking forward to it. And me being in panic mode, I'm like, well, she has to be seen right away, but it's a Saturday. Like, what's going to be done? We had started making contacts, and we ultimately decided to let her go to that party. It was like at 4 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we sat her down and talked to her, and we took her to Wake Med with her Build-A-Bear after.
I mean, this is a matter of hours.
Yeah.
You're at a urgent care for a bug bite.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And just hours later, you're talking about cancer.
Yeah.
At Wake Med. Oh. You go to Wake Med.
Yeah, so we go to Wake Med, and they pretty much tell us, so unfortunately it's the weekend. There's nothing we can do. We could, keep you here, but there's nothing we can do till Monday.
She's stable.
So she was fine.
We had done labs, and then that was another indicator. But still they couldn't do anything. It's a Saturday night at this point. So of course we took her home and had to wait till
that waiting.
Yeah.
Again, I have no idea. I want to imagine, just trying to put myself in your shoes. I would think you just want to know more information. What's next? What's the treatment? Are those the things running through your mind, or
my mind? Definitely.
Yeah, what was going through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I think, just trying to figure out where to go.
Yeah.
Like, we live in a good area for hospitals and doctors and everything like that. And just trying to, like, what can we do in the meantime, which essentially was nothing. I'm very fortunate to, kind of be from North Carolina. I did have a cousin that kind of worked in the medical field, and I'd reached out to her, and, like, the big conversation around these parts is UNC or Duke.
Mm-hmm.
They're both great medical facilities. It was just a matter of which one was more equipped to kind of deal with this. So my cousin had a friend that actually worked on at Duke, and she actually worked
in the
sarcoma, like orthopedic surgery.
Did you know that it's osteosarcoma?
Yeah. So
did you have that diagnosis?
We didn't have the diagnosis, but based off the X-ray and the blood work, it's like it's a bone cancer. So there are certain indicators. It wasn't
specific
confirmed.
to childhood.
Yeah.
And bone growth and those.
Yeah.
Things.
It wasn't confirmed, obviously, without the biopsy, but due to the X-ray and blood work, they did suspect a sarcoma.
Tell me about your emotions at this point. I mean, it's just so early. Fear in your people of faith. And so what's the process? What are you guys working through?
So I think, obviously we're praying, like maybe somebody's wrong, maybe there's, yeah, they get paid a lot of money to, kind of make these decisions, but maybe they're just wrong. Maybe it's something else. And so, we're praying and we have a lot of people praying for us and, just trying to figure it out because at this point, we're drinking information from a fire hydrant.
Right. That's right.
It's just coming at us fast and we're trying to, soak what little bit we can in. And, it's hard to explain until you go through it. But, like I said earlier, your whole world has just stopped.
Yeah.
And now your sole focus is like, what do we do? And
always wondering what's next.
Yeah, you're getting thrown into something you know absolutely nothing about.
And you have to.
And you have to, learn it, and you have to, ensure that, well, we don't know it, but we need to know it because it involves her.
Sure.
And
What about you, Mom? What's going on at this time?
So I'm in panic mode, and Dylan gets mad at me for this, but I'm researching, and we reached out to family and friends, and it's hard to hear just knowing how I am. It's gonna be okay. Like Dylan said, maybe they're wrong, and that's not how I process. I'm already thinking worst case scenario. I'm already researching. But when we took her home that Saturday night and Sunday, I think I don't know, I felt frozen in time. And then starting Monday, I feel like our world's changed even more, but I automatically thought worst case scenario.
Yeah. How about, and as much as you all want to share, but you got this other child in the mix, Christian, who at that time, is he 10, 9?
2024.
Yeah, he would have just turned 11.
Yeah, because this was in May.
Yeah.
And he's absorbing this and the environment of panic and all this new information. How's Christian doing during this time?
Christian goes through bursts of emotion. So throughout the whole journey, really, this was one of the few that he gets really emotional. And I think at that time, he just clings to us, we know. And that Sunday, I was we brought him on the porch, I think, and we are just spend time with Noelle, make it normal, play Roblox with her, watch TV. And, throughout this journey still, it's hard for his mind to understand and grasp it all. But it's hard. And I think part of me feels guilty throughout this whole journey because Noelle was our focus,
right?
But we still have Christian,
right?
I feel like it was definitely a hard balance.
Yeah, I mean,
you're doing the best you can in those circumstances.
Yeah, to be brutally honest, Christian got pushed to the side. Not that you want to say that as a parent, but that's just being brutally honest. Christian obviously was still our child, and we still took care of him and did the best we could. But and in that moment, you have to
Noelle.
Yeah, Noelle needed full attention. And look, it's hard to, like I said, when you're getting force fed from a fire hydrant to really go any other way.
And I've, as a therapist, that is a common experience. Is how do we parent this other kid in the midst of this crisis? And I'm sure you all did the best you could, but that is hard. But I love your advice. Just spend some time with your sister.
Yeah, just keep it normal, because going through the cancer journey is far from normal.
Yeah.
So the more, normalcy you can keep it, the better off.
Looking back, I feel guilty because, when I told the kids to do that with Christian and Noelle, I feel like we were in the bedroom and just like researching, and I take for granted now I can't do that anymore. And I felt it's such a hard line, as a mom.
Yeah.
You're wanting to research all this to get information, but now you don't have that time.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, I hope you can give yourself the grace to go like that. When you're hit with that, God, you haven't had any notion of how to handle all this.
No guidebook.
Yeah. No guidebook to go through this thing.
Yeah.
So the weekend and then Monday comes. It feels like there's like a little transition there. Like all of a sudden, and Monday hits, and now if it was a fire hose before, it might be like a waterfall, huh?
Yeah. So we actually were able to get an appointment on Tuesday at Duke.
Okay.
And the appointment was not with like the oncologist. It was with the orthopedic surgeon.
Okay.
Simply because my cousin's friend worked for him.
Okay.
And so we go to Duke. They do X-rays, and he looked at the ones we had gotten from urgent care as well, and he's like, obviously I can't, without doing a biopsy, I can't tell you 100% that this is osteosarcoma, but based on my medical knowledge, this is osteosarcoma. At the time of this meeting, he asked.
Noelle's in the chair with her headphones on her iPad.
Yeah. So
while you're having the
while we're having the conversation,
all the information, they start bringing you in folders and books.
Yeah, and I mean, you're just trying to ask anything. You're trying to make sure you don't miss anything.
She's not in any pain at this point, or
no. So that's what is odd about Noelle's situation.
Her whole journey was rare.
Her whole journey was different. But
going back to the Tuesday appointment though, she started coughing and I had asked him about that, and I said she's had this like lingering cough. They diagnosed her with walking pneumonia in February, the time,
Yeah.
And Noelle was never a sickly child. Like she never got sick. And when I mentioned that to him, his ears kind of perked up.
Okay.
And so they sent her for a chest X-ray. And he's explaining why he's doing the chest X-ray, because it does metastasize to the lungs. And at that point, we're in the waiting room, and I'm calling my family. I'm like, I can't be in her lungs. Like, he just told us everything for localized. This is just a cough. It can't be. And sure enough, it was confirmed that day that it was in both lungs. Yeah.
Yeah. So that, you've already been hit by a train and ran over by a train, and then here comes another train.
Because the whole time of the meeting, he's talking localized, that's what we're hoping,
Well, just since you've shared your story, I'm looking at osteosarcoma, and they're talking about what you'll be sharing about, I guess amputation and something, but that stays localized, and then there's what I was reading is a pretty high success rate of treatment
for localized, yeah.
But then you get hit with this thing. Did you know at that point,
I mean, you hear cancers, you hear cancer journeys, and Noelle was stage 4.
Yeah, and you don't, obviously, stage 4, if someone tells you that, that's the worst. But what it really means is it just means that the cancer has moved from, one part of the body to a whole nother part of the body. And it was just a lot. And, like I said, we've got all this information, and now we're getting more.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
it's not good information.
Yeah. So, what do people do these days when they want to see if something's good? They Google it.
WebMD,
Chat GPT now. And they look at, reviews and ratings, and Duke is one of the better, medical institutes in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought we were in the right place for everything, and we just had to kind of listen, because obviously there was no way we knew where to go. you know, a lot of people start throwing out like St. Jude's and
Right.
stuff like that. But I won't really get into that. But there are some reasons why people can't go to St. Jude's.
Sure.
And
there's something about just being local,
Home.
being able to be home, and those types of
Everything's
things.
already not normal, but having your home to go back to, like,
That was important.
yeah.
And I think that was important for Noelle too.
Yes.
You know, like not only did our lives change
Oh my
as
God.
parents, but her life was really about to change. And
That whole week we had to drive back to Duke.
I think we went every day just
Oh, yeah.
because
Their biopsy was Wednesday.
and you have appointments with now, like I said, this was the orthopedic, you know, surgeon. Now we got to meet with oncologists, and now we got to, you know, start, you know, figuring out what's next. And so,
And she's getting dragged into all of these
Yeah.
different appointments. And
yeah, not to mention, you know, she's in first grade. First grade's almost over.
how many people know at this point?
I think after the first week, probably everybody we knew.
Yeah, okay.
I made
And
an
more.
announcement.
Yeah.
I think the day of her biopsy, I made an announcement.
Yeah. People react all kinds of different ways, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't think it would happen to your family, but then you don't think a child at your school is going to get cancer, or a friend, or, you know, someone in the community. You know, I mean, we were just a family. We weren't a famous family in the community.
Yeah, we had no status or anything like that. We didn't grow up here.
Right.
You know, we were kind of implants.
How did people respond? How did the community respond?
I mean, I would say I don't really have the words, but it was like an astronomical, you know, kind of effect. You know, people were, you know, how can we help? What can we do?
We had to like go into treatment right away, which Duke moved very fast, I think, because she was stage 4. But on the back end, like there was already 2 events planned within the week that she was diagnosed.
Events being like fundraisers.
Yeah.
and
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, you know, it was just kind of like this was home. I think that's what, you know, we kind of knew Clayton was home when we first moved here. We just made a lot of friends, and
'Cause we're getting older.
the kids made friends, and, you know, being in the military, that's hard to
I was
find.
going to say, that's unique, huh?
Yeah, and so it just kind of, you know, it made sense, you know, being a person of faith, and, you know, God puts you in places for reasons. And as horrible as it is to think now that the reason he put us here was part of Noelle's journey, he put us here for Noelle's journey, because I feel that, you know, had we been somewhere else with the, like, not saying it wouldn't have been the same, but I don't feel it would have been the same. You know, the friends we made, I don't know how well we would have made it at that point.
How are the two of you doing together during this time? It's so much stress, so much, and it sounds like, just like all couples,
Yeah.
you're handling things very different.
Well, we had multiple people within, and it's weird, you know, your child's just diagnosed with cancer, and people are reaching out, and the marriage is the first to go, you know, and
Oh, wow.
that.
People are telling you that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I
Really?
think they've told us that the whole journey, even after she passed, you know, the marriage is the first thing to suffer. But
I'm not trying to portray us, you know, as a perfect couple, but we just, I don't know, we like balanced each other. It's
Sounds like you have.
we function on different
Yeah.
levels, but our levels mesh.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better partner to handle, you know, that situation. So
Yeah.
there are, you know, a few times when things, you know, are amputation, and as we got further into it, you know, but I don't know, we just worked well, you know, we were together at the forefront of this, and that's how we continue to ride it out.
Yeah. Would you say that your marriage got stronger through this?
I would say yes.
yeah, I mean,
I
I
won't
think
put words in your mouth, but it does seem like you guys are, you know, when you go through hell together. It probably is one or the other.
I would say it did bring us closer. I feel like, having Christian so young and Noel so young, it's been kids, for us the whole time. And I think that's something that we're trying to learn right now, how to like make our way back to each other in a sense. But I mean, I feel like we just handled it together so well.
I mean, and a part of me thinks that, like, that's what you're supposed to do. I mean,
Right.
you're put on this earth, or however you want to view it, and, you meet that person, and then you have a kid. That kid didn't choose to, come into this world. You made that choice, and, that child didn't choose to get cancer. So, during that, you have to be the strongest person for that child, because who do your kids look up to? Mom and dad, and to think that like you can't manage an argument, or, you want to have an argument while your child's dealing with the worst possible thing.
What a great perspective. Yeah.
I couldn't see myself, putting myself or my feelings above Noel during any of that.
Right.
Only because, Noel's didn't choose any of this.
Yeah. Just to love each other is one of the best ways to parent. Yeah.
Right.
So you're getting these new information flooding constant. And was the amputation the first intervention? Was that one of the first interventions?
So osteosarcoma is pretty rare. So there's not like a lot of chemo options.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a standardized treatment.
Yeah.
That's been the same since like the 60s.
Yeah. So it's...
You guys have like a doctoral degree on this stuff.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And all the history and all the details.
But so you do what's called MAP chemo.
Okay.
So it's basically a week on, 3 weeks off, 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off, up to 10 weeks. And then after the first 10 weeks is usually the main surgery.
Where the primary tumor is.
Yeah. So this was where we had discussed with Duke about doing a limb salvage. So what that would have meant is that they would put a rod inside, basically take the place of the femur, because that's where it was located. And that was kind of our plan until it wasn't. So we did the 10 weeks.
How did she respond to the chemo?
It didn't spread, and it shrunk very little.
Yeah.
So I don't know what in, chemo terms or cancer terms is considered a success. My point of view would mean that you're cured, but, obviously that's a long shot.
On a mental standpoint, I feel like she did.
Yeah.
I don't know where she gets her strength from. Like, I don't, but she did really well. There was when her hair came out right after the first round of chemo. Noelle had long blonde hair, and that she wouldn't go out the house for like a few days. And we've never seen that side of Noelle. But, of course, I'm on Facebook, like, send me wigs. I need where can I get wigs? I don't care how much it costs. Got her wigs, she didn't like, they were itchy, but she wouldn't go out the house. That was hard to go through, watching her do that mentally. But then after that, that's why I started the Facebook group. Everyone's like, chemo's going to put her down. She's going to be very sickly, which there are times, but she'll
bounce back. I mean, I know, everyone says, oh, children are resilient, and, they just don't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
Us as adults, we tend to complain about a lot of things that probably aren't that bad. But, like, she'd do her chemo and come home, and
want to go on the golf cart.
Yeah, some days she'd be tired, but most days it was, she was a handful trying to just keep up with her.
She wanted to stay still.
Yeah, she just wanted to go, as if, nothing had changed. And I think, going back to what you said about, like our marriage, like there was really no, like, there was downfalls because our child had cancer, but like our day to day didn't really change because she kept us on our toes the whole time. Yeah.
She was kind of the glue. That's incredible.
She's definitely the glue.
Wow.
She would do makeup tutorials. She
Booty shaking videos.
Yeah, she found some way to entertain everyone.
Yeah, she did. And I think that's what captivated so many people throughout her journey.
Sure. Ah, so
Yeah.
she's finishing up those treatments, and you're thinking it's not spreading, and it feels successful, but apparently the results were not what you were hoping they'd be.
Yeah, so obviously from the get-go, we found out it was in her lungs, but no one ever truly said how severe
To what extent?
the lungs were. And
We would ask how many spots, because they're considered nodules.
Okay.
How many nodules, because at that time I'm researching, never could get a number.
Why do you think that is?
because there were so many, and the likelihood that, I hate to say this, but the likelihood that Noel survived was, the percentage was very low.
And so the doctors were trying to be nice or trying to not...
I think they tried to sugarcoat a lot of it, even though, we wanted
we want the truth.
Just give us the truth. But that led us up to where we thought Noel was going to have a limb salvage surgery, and everything changed at that point. We had met with the orthopedic surgeon, and, he kind of stated, yeah, but there's, no real facts about doing this surgery now, which kind of threw us off because
it's been drilled in our brain.
Everyone said this for the last 10 weeks, and
this was a surprise to you.
Yeah, and so come to find out, they didn't want to do it because of the amount of nodules in her lungs, simply because, I think, I can't say for sure, but I think they had already kind of saw the outcome. And so at that point, as parents, we deemed this as kind of unacceptable. It's our child.
Sure.
And you're not really giving us a real reason. So after the 10 weeks, you're supposed to have the surgery, and then there's 18 more weeks of chemo.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you need another surgery, that's on the back end of that. And so we were still at Duke. We kind of put two and two together as to why they weren't going to do this surgery. And so we started asking more questions.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, who would do the lung surgery? And can we talk to that person, because you've yet to kind of give us how many nodules are there? How many's in there? What's the problem?
Yeah.
And instead of, having a conversation kind of we're having today, where they sat down and explained it, me and Noel were in for chemo, because each stay was an inpatient stay. So you were there for 3 to 5 days, and kind of got, a bunch of doctors came in the room and said, at this time, we wouldn't do surgery on Noel's lungs either.
Wow.
And so panic mode sets in again. You start to question everything.
I mean, Noel's still here. She's vibrant. She's living.
Just can't.
Yeah.
She's going through chemo.
I can't imagine.
And through this whole time, it's been months since we, kind of found out. Noelle never experienced pain.
Yeah.
You would have never known, minus the fact that she didn't have hair,
Right.
that Noelle was going through what she was going through. She would go swimming, dive to the bottom of the pool, hold her breath, sing. It was just like,
Can't be.
it's not real.
Can't be.
And
You're the researcher, you're the advocate, which I think people don't know sometimes how much you have to. You think the doctors are just going to give you all, but you got to advocate.
Yeah.
You have to advocate. You have to do. That's where you're doing your homework, both of you guys. But
Yeah.
like at this point, and they are like U-turning on you.
Yeah.
What is it? Are you getting angry? Are you guys starting to get?
I was really mad.
Yeah.
I think by this time, because this was July, I've already tried to reach out on social media, anybody I could find whose kid had osteosarcoma. Noelle was one of a kind. No one I had interacted with, even up until today, was already metastasized, stage 4. So Noelle was rare to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But, we would go in with questions at Duke. Like, I feel some parents go in there and they're just soaking all the information where we
You had the
question them.
information.
Yeah. My sister was a pharmacist and, so she has some background and I'm like, send me your questions. It made me angry.
Sure. And it would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're getting this information and all of a sudden it's just the plan
Yeah.
is dead end.
Right.
And
At that point, Noelle was comfortable with everyone there. Like we had a routine.
Yeah.
And it sucked, but that's when we flew out to Texas to MD Anderson, and we went to UNC Chapel Hill. Luckily, MD and UNC were closely aligned, and we have UNC here. And it was hard for her to adapt to a whole new, each hospital is different, like how they access your port. Like it's just, so there was a lot of anger in that period that we had to transition.
Absolutely. That you even had to transition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So UNC said, we think maybe we can do some things.
They were hopeful. And that's all that we asked for.
Yeah.
We didn't ask for us, like, that you're going to cure my child. We knew this was a bad case.
We just want to take all options.
Yeah. Like, we're not just going to stop and twiddle our thumbs.
Yeah.
That's just not the type of people we are.
Of course not. And she's a warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, her, spirit and everything, how she fought, like it wasn't just as simple as us saying, okay, well, we'll accept this because of, that's what you're telling us to do. We were, the way she portrayed it and the way she had, kind of just went above and beyond, like how she reacted to treatment and all of this. Like, we just knew that, we needed to do more for her.
She's 6'7", and she knows what's happening.
Yeah.
Is she talking about cancer and talking about her own? That's a pretty young age, and just wonder how she was wrapping her head around the sickness itself.
I think we had conversations, like, yeah, you have cancer, like, here's what's going to happen. But the conversations never obviously led to, like, here's the outcomes or something like that. And she was just so positive. I would say, like, obviously our first obstacle was her leg surgery. We had threw out the option at Duke of limb salvage, but after some further tests at UNC, and with the fact that she had lung mets, just the recovery from all of that, along with, having to do more chemo and having to eventually, focus on lungs, we decided that a hip disarticulation, which is the removal all the way at the hip, was the probably Noelle's best option. And you would think that would be scary for a 7-year-old. I think me and Toni were probably more scared than she was. Noelle had a sense of humor, and our logo for the foundation has a flamingo on it. And the reason behind that is before Noel's surgery, she had stated that she wanted to be a flamingo because they sleep on one leg. So, that's kind of the drive behind the flamingo.
She came up with that.
She came up with that. Yeah.
I think it was a harder time for me specifically. I'm going to try not to get emotional. There's another video specifically. I remember we were on our swinging porch, and it was a few days before her surgery, and that's before I'd ordered all these books on Amazon. I'm like, how do I explain this, and it's just, it was like the day before we had to tell her, or we decided to sit her down and tell her, like, she's going to not have her leg anymore. And I don't know, it's so gut-wrenching just to see everything she's been through at this point. Yeah, but then, and she did go through an emotional time, but then the other side of Noel, like Dylan's just saying, it's just...
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, so ultimately, this was the end of October. We did move it to the right a week because Noelle got to go to a Lainey Wilson concert. She really wanted to do that.
That's amazing.
And so we were able to make that happen.
And our neighborhood in Clayton put Halloween on early for her.
Oh, my gosh. The whole neighborhood.
Yeah. And so, October 25th of 2024, she had her surgery. I think we were in the hospital for 5 days. And luckily the thing with the hip disarticulation is there's not a lot of recovery, simply because they just remove it all.
That's shocking.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And what we thought would, slow most people down was definitely not what slowed Noelle down. She had a wheelchair. She hated it. So the next option was a walker. And I think she probably put more miles on that walker than I could tell you. Yeah, she would be hobbling along, trying to crawl upstairs. Like there was no stopping her.
Yeah.
And that's part of our drive for why we kept going.
Yeah.
But yeah, it blew my mind. I thought we'd be laying around the house and taking it easy, but not with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, we moved. We had to move our king size bed in our master bedroom to one side of the wall, and we put a twin bed in because we had a 2-story house at the time, and Noelle was our little roommate.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
From that point on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I slept more in the small bed than Noelle did.
Me.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
She slept with you. He went on the small bed. Okay, that makes sense.
I got kicked to the small bed.
That's all right.
That's
that makes
okay.
sense. So after the amputation, I read about the bell. You just want to ring that bell.
Yeah.
And
I have a love-hate relationship with that.
yes, that hit me, man. When
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think, I think that bell might create a false sense of hope.
In every office you walk, like the oncology floor, it's right there. It's
I
like
never thought about that.
Yeah. And I mean, of course, like when you're not dealing with cancer, you see people ring the bell and it's like the greatest thing. And, of course that's what you want to get.
Of course. Yes.
But, sometimes it's just not achievable.
Right.
And I don't think that ever gets mentioned enough.
It does not get mentioned at all.
Yeah.
And that is like a brand new perspective for me.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, after her leg amputation, we had more chemo. I think our chemo cycle ended roughly right around Christmas time. We then went to Disney World for Noelle's Make-A-Wish trip.
Talk to me about Make-A-Wish. So how does that happen, and what's the how do you get identified, or is that something you all kind of apply to?
So I think
Somebody else nominating?
hospital. Yeah, I think depending on case, I think they are already, because Make-A-Wish reaches out to us.
Okay.
They came to our house, had to have a meeting, talk to Noelle, because it's not like they don't want me and Dylan saying, no, let's go here, and make our trip.
Let's go to Alaska.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Noelle did want to go to Hawaii.
Oh.
So we had meetings, and, some people don't get to take their Make-A-Wish. And I think I'm super happy with how ours worked out, that we'll get into. But it's just, I'm glad that we had the opportunity to do that, because not every kid does, because of timing.
Okay.
In some way, somehow it worked out for us. But obviously we couldn't go to Hawaii. So she ended chemo in December. She was set to have lung surgery in January of 25. And I think we asked, we're like, we know we can't go to Hawaii, but can we go anywhere before this surgery? This is before we knew what we were about to get into. And
you didn't have the timeline as this short.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of our thought process was obviously in conjunction with the, nurses and the doctors, like Hawaii is really far away from North Carolina.
Yes, it is.
So, had there been any, emergencies or something like that, Hawaii might not be the best suited.
Right.
So,
so they can make Disney happen. And
yeah. And I guess, a lot of families go to Disney World for Make-A-Wish, so the familiarity.
They know how to do it.
Yeah.
They know how to put it on.
And so we ended up going to Disney World. We were there for a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Make-A-Wish takes care of all of that.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
They do a great job.
This is a week before the lung surgery.
Yeah.
In my paranoid brain, I'm like a germaphobe. And I'm like, everyone at that point had been coming back from Disney with the stomach flu or the flu. And I'm like, I don't know if this is a good idea. But then just something inside of me is like, we need this trip. Noelle needs this trip after, May to December.
That's a tough choice, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we went back and forth, and I think Tony's anxiety was probably worse than anybody's. I
I had 5 hand sanitizers at Disney.
Just dumping it.
Yeah.
Well, the Make-A-Wish Disney World trip where you're like, yes, it feels very similar to that Build-A-Bear moment.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, we've got it.
Some way, somehow worked out how it was meant to.
Yeah. And, I think this just goes to once again prove Noel's strength. Like she's riding roller coasters,
She wouldn't get on. She was walking through Disney World. She wouldn't get in her wheelchair. We had to make her.
Yeah,
Yep.
had to walk her. We'd have to make her ride just because the walker kind of slowed her down.
Right.
All these people.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a great trip.
Oh man, a week.
Just to kind of get away from we've been living in this black hole, so to speak, and just to kind of get out of that and
good for everybody.
Yeah. And experience some fun. A
few hiccups.
Yeah, that was okay though. But yeah, so it was good for the soul.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then after Disney World, this date will be implanted in our brain forever. January 17th of 2025, Noelle had lung surgery.
Mm-hmm.
We got up at 5 a.m. I'm friends with Amanda from QDR, the radio station, and have you heard the song Tough People?
I have not. Mm-mm.
It's about a little girl that has cancer, right?
Yeah.
And it's about ringing the bell. But I asked her to play that, and we have a skylight calendar at home, and every now and then it's the picture of me, Dylan, and Noelle right before they rolled her back. And it's like, I remember it like it was 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a long day, a 10-hour surgery. They removed her whole right lung, and 54 nodules from her left lung.
And after all that, we were told that that was not all the cancer, that they couldn't get it all.
And so she came out of surgery, and she actually came out just like breathing with a bag, surprisingly.
She wasn't intubated.
Not intubated or anything.
Without one lung and
with
the
one,
other one.
Yeah. And unfortunately, though, that proved a little tough. And she made it through the whole night, but early that next morning, they had to intubate her and put her on ECMO. So don't quote me because I don't know what ECMO stands for. But basically, it's an iron lung. Yeah. So that way her lungs can rest, because there obviously was a lot of stress going on inside of
partial
Noelle.
lung at this point.
Yeah. But yeah, she was on ECMO for 32 days, and she came off of ECMO. But while she was on ECMO, she had to have a tracheostomy and put on a ventilator.
And all of this was discussed before surgery, you know.
Sure.
You have to sign everything, but you have to sign everything before a biopsy and the amputation, you know, and worst case.
But I don't think you ever go into it thinking worst case.
Or that you're going to get every worst case that they mentioned.
And you guys are getting every single worst case.
The trach wasn't even mentioned.
Like we never thought that it would have, kind of evolved into what it did.
I don't think anybody knew.
I think when we met with the surgeon the week before surgery, Noelle had to do a lung test, and she passed with flying colors. And we just kind of thought it would be similar to her amputation. They take something and she bounces right back. She did prove very strong, though.
Shocker.
Yeah, I can recall being at the hospital, and they got her out of bed with ECMO. And for those that don't know, ECMO is this big, huge tube that just kind of runs in the side of your neck.
Has to be stable.
Has to be stable because, if it pulls out or something like that, you lose blood. And this is a 7-year-old.
Right.
And, she conquered all that.
Jeez.
And
to see your child under those circumstances.
We were in the hospital for 90 days in the PICU. It was
90 days, 3 months in the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was tough.
She was sedated, my birthday just happened January 30th, and last year she wasn't awake for it.
Yeah, and I think in my mind, as you guys are sharing so courageously and honestly, I'm like, this is just last year. Just last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think I pretty much lived in Chapel Hill for 90 days.
Sure.
I might have went home 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
How was the Army?
So they were great. I couldn't have asked for. I won't give the Army full credit, but I'll give my leadership credit.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't have asked for better people in my corner. I got to spend all these days with my child who, ultimately passed away, and I'll never get that time back. And that's one thing we can't make more of. Time.
Yeah, that's right.
And so, as hard as it is that she's not here, I'm glad I got to spend as much time as I could with her, and no repercussions or no real worries outside of that.
Your leadership, your community just answered the call.
100%.
Unreal. So you're in 90 days, and then she gets out of PICU?
Yeah, so we were in the PICU for, I want to say it was 83, 84 days.
Yeah.
And then they moved us to a floor.
Throughout this time, though, I would lay in bed with her, and I noticed more spots come up it just started popping up like wildfire.
Yeah.
There was, and I found them all. There's a spot on her other leg that had formed within the 3 months, under her armpit. I would be rubbing her under her armpit. They did a scan because she started having seizures. I think it was a combination of medicine, but then they found a spot in her brain, and it literally just spread like it couldn't be stopped.
Yeah. So during those 90 days, she did do radiation as well. She did do a round of chemo, but obviously none of that really, I won't say mattered, but was effective at this point. So when we got moved to the floor, we found out she would come home on hospice, just simply because going back, osteosarcoma, there is only, really one true, standard of chemo. And after that, it's shooting your shot in the dark. Will it work? Maybe, probably not. These are the answers we were getting. And, at some point you just have to, with everything she had, a ventilator, a trach, you just have to think about quality of life, unfortunately.
That's right.
And so...
Those are hard, not only decisions you're making, but just realities to absorb. What's going on? Can I ask you about your faith during this time? I mean, you're speaking about God putting you in a place of community, but these other things are happening. What are you, Mom, what are you experiencing in that place of faith?
It was a hard journey.
Oh my God.
And I feel like I'm still repairing it.
Yeah.
You pray, like, why is this happening to Noelle? Why is she having to go through a strenuous journey like this? And then I think towards the end, when she had her surgery up until she passed away, I didn't give up, but it's just, it was just one thing after another. And at that point, I didn't feel surprised anymore. Like, I felt like there was no hope, as bad as that sounds.
It's honest.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah. I mean, you sit there in the hospital for 90 days and there's only so much you can do. The PICU
rooms, like, you don't have anything because it's like ICU. Like, there's no, you have to leave the floor,
you have to
go to the bathroom,
the floor,
there's no shower, there's no
get
TV.
Buzzed in. It's not, it's not the most pleasant place to be, obviously, but there's also only so much you can do while you're, sitting there. Machines are beeping.
Yeah.
Where we earned our degree.
Yeah. You start to you start to learn more about like medicines than you want to.
Right.
But you're having these conversations in your head or with God, and the conversation just become less and less.
Yeah.
And I mean, at some point you're just like, well, this isn't right.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone, you grow up in the South, the Bible Belt.
And you're hearing some things.
Everyone's always like, well, it's God's plan, or,
I think at a point that gets really overwhelming.
I think, when you like sitting there seeing your child who's innocent, has maybe said a cuss word or two because she heard it on a show, or, but no bad bone in her body, going through all this, and you gonna tell me that's someone's plan? I think that's hard to grasp. It's hard to understand, and I understand that there's no way I could understand it, but
maybe you don't need to hear that right now.
Yeah, maybe
or that God wanted her home.
Yeah,
that was another hard one to hear.
Yeah.
Insensitive.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, I remember reading C.S. Lewis, A Grief Observed, and some of his other journeys, and him praying over his mom as a kid, and his mom passed, and being a kid going, the thing didn't work. Just didn't work. And when you've prayed and you prayed, and it's not happening.
Yeah.
You are absolutely allowed whatever feeling you have about that.
Yeah.
And still wrestling with it is, I mean, how could you not be?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you find yourself, going from prayers to, please help Noel, please make this better, please, you're saying please a lot.
Yeah.
And, they then
Now that's happening.
turn to, just take me, like, I'd give anything to,
take her place.
Just put me in that bed and let her go. Like, you're asking for something, and then now you're ready to give everything.
Yeah.
So it's hard to balance.
Yeah.
It's hard to, it's really hard to put your trust in something at that point.
Hope is hard to come by at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So she comes home, hospice.
She wasn't supposed to come home, but we weren't going to take no for an answer.
That also doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah. They told us we were probably crazy for going home.
Yeah.
She is on a full-time ventilator at this point.
Yeah. So that involved 24-hour care.
Sure.
But we were determined that
She wanted to get home, and we were going to make that
she's
happen.
coming home.
yeah, and we weren't just gonna sit in the hospital and rot away, so to speak. So she came home on April 17th, so 90 days to the day from the time we arrived at UNC. I don't think we really knew what to expect. It was a lot for me and Toni, simply because when you have a tracheostomy, you have to change the trach out every couple of days.
You have to suction it. You have to
there's a lot involved.
monitor her oxygen all the time.
You're turning into full-time nurses.
Yeah, that's what, and when we first had a meeting with them, we're like, we want to spend the time with her, and
we want to be parents.
They quickly let us know that if you want her home, that's not going to be possible, But we had home health. Noel wouldn't let them come near her. She was over the nurses, so it was me and Dylan.
She was pushing them away.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we were. Noelle was still spunky. Don't get it twisted. Her spirit and attitude came right home with her.
Yeah.
And so me and Toni pretty much did everything. I think the most the nurse did was sit beside her. If she liked them. But yeah, so we were pretty much full-time nurses.
Yeah, the ventilator had to the cords had to run through our house. So anytime Noel moved, the ventilator he was
her cart had to go with her.
It's a completely immersive experience.
It is. Yeah.
How long was she home?
So we were home until May 6th, and then going back to the community, and everyone just kind of wrapping themselves around us. As we mentioned, Noelle wanted to go to Hawaii. That was kind of out of the question.
Yeah.
But one of our friends made Emerald Isle turn into Hawaii for Noelle. And so on May 6th, we took Noelle and a lot of our family.
A lot of equipment.
Wow.
We had some. We created a Noel Strong Facebook group.
Yeah.
And it captivated a lot of people. So we were able to kind of reach out through that, and we had some nurses that were just willing to come volunteer and stay with us to kind of hopefully alleviate the fear of us taking her and something going wrong. So they volunteered their time and came to Emerald Isle with us as well. And we had a really good time. We went to the aquarium. We had like a luau on the beach. A whole bunch of things just for Noelle. And
It's like in her mind, she knew. Like, I don't think she knew, but it's like her body knew. Like, because she could tell she started dwindling away that week, but it's like she knew we wanted to get her to the beach. Like, we wanted her with family one last time. Like, and she let us, it was a big orchestration to get her to the beach. And it's like, she let it happen.
Almost like she was doing that for you all.
yeah. Yeah.
That's what I feel.
Yeah, I feel she, it was a lot. And, even like at home, if we had to take her outside, she didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
But this trip, she just kind of sucked it up. And,
We were overwhelmed with food and the luau dancers and Bluey characters. And
yeah,
I
it
mean,
was
we were
just,
shown
it was
such
amazing.
passion.
Yeah.
They changed all the signs.
That said,
Aloha, Franklin family, or
my goodness.
welcome,
Yeah.
Noel.
Oh, my goodness.
yeah, it was pretty amazing. Just to, and, we don't have any ties to Emerald Isle
Right.
at all.
No, we don't.
Now that's like our second home.
Wow.
Like something just draws us there. And I know it's, because of the compassion and, the above and beyond they did for someone they didn't know. A lot of people, kind of tagged on to the Facebook group and learned about Noelle and her story. And, she just captivated a lot of people. And, it's pretty amazing what, people can do when they put their mind to it.
That's right.
Yeah.
How they can comfort and love through just community. And that's what you guys experienced.
Yeah. And so we were in Emerald Isle until Saturday, which would have been the 10th of May. Noelle's oxygen had started to creep up where she had needed more.
She would need more oxygen, but her oxygen level wasn't where it needed to be.
And so we were supposed to leave that Sunday, which was Mother's Day, to go back home. But Noelle had other plans. And so that Saturday night, we ended up at the ER. And
they were not
equipped to handle Noelle's, severity or complexion. So it took us a while. There was a bunch of mishaps, but we eventually made it back to UNC Chapel Hill.
You rode in an ambulance.
I did ride in an ambulance.
Rode with
That's a long drive.
Yeah, especially when you were up all night in the ER, and then you finally leave.
Yeah.
I think we made it to UNC Chapel Hill around like 11 on that Sunday, the 10th.
That's Mother's Day.
Yep.
And she was diagnosed in 24. It was right at Mother's Day.
Before Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And so we got there. They did some scans, and based on the scans they did,
it had gotten worse.
It had gotten worse.
Just from
it
those
just
weeks
kind of took over. And so at that point, we kind of unfortunately had to kind of make a decision as to where we go. But then on the 12th, at 10:43 a.m. Sorry.
Understandable. Those things are just, like you said, they're just etched in your memory. Do you remember that day is pretty...
Yeah, like the hospital room and just how everything came to be. Christian, we gave Christian the choice. He didn't want to be in there. But the decision as a parent you have to make to turn the ventilator off. But it was just me, her, and Dylan in the bed. And I feel like the mind can play funny tricks on you, because it's like I'm driving down the road and it's like that picture just flashes, like when we were in the hospital room. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that's worse, or, them pulling the body bag outside the door, and they bring you a complimentary cart with drinks and snacks. Yeah, that day, there's a lot of pictures that flash back to that day.
Yeah, so we think that, going back just a little bit, those 90 days Noelle spent in the PICU, she made a lot of friends.
She did.
A lot of the nurses really admired Noelle. And Noelle getting back to UNC was kind of her way of,
She knew we were safe there.
Yeah.
Yeah. He knew we had, like, people in our corner.
Yeah. Sitting here today, as you think back, not that long ago, months, it's not even a year, months ago, you're revisiting all of this. I like to, because this podcast is about people who go above and beyond. And that's what you guys have done and are doing, taking this pain and turning it into a purpose with Noel Strong. What would you tell parents who might be going, because you guys are like, man, if we could have had somebody, repeatedly, somebody to reach out to who's like been through something like this, it would have been so helpful. Yeah, so helpful. What would you tell parents who are going through this? How would you, and I know it's been just a small amount of time. You're still grieving. You're still working through this. It seems like you want to be able to give back, and after passing, he started this incredible foundation. Recovery Live is going to donate, our sponsor, $1,000. And it's the least we can do. Dear Lord. Can you tell people, Noel Strong, how do they get a hold of you? By the way, we're going to put something on the screen about how to give to your organization.
Yeah, so you can go to noelstrong.org.
Yeah.
You can read about Noel's story. There's plenty of places to click the donate button.
Click.
Yeah.
Click away.
Click that donate button. So you can, read the story, kind of read about, what we're doing, where we intend to go. Our whole mission, why we're doing it.
You want her story to be told. You want people to find some hope. You want to use this hardship as a way to help other people. I'm assuming that's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
We adopted 8 families this Christmas, what it would have been Noel's 8th Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And this year we are focusing, we have a lot of events. We want to...
When you say you're adopting 8 families that are going through similar experience,
So
what does that look like?
So sarcoma related families.
Oh, wow.
They went through UNC.
Yeah.
Came up with a form, and number 8 was really important for Dylan because it would have been Noel's 8th Christmas, and we succeeded at doing that. It's hard for like outsiders that have never been through childhood cancer to say, oh, that's so sad, but I felt me and Dylan did all the deliveries, and we know that, like,
right.
It's second nature to us.
So what are you telling parents? What would you share? Somebody's watching this or going through this. What are some things that you would tell somebody who's going through this right now?
I mean, first, you're not alone.
Yeah.
You know, like there's people out there, as unfortunate as it is, there's people out there, and, you know, whatever you need, just ask.
Yeah.
You know, people don't know what to give until you ask.
That's right.
I think a lot of our hesitation at first was like, you know, people are willing to give, but people are hesitant about receiving stuff.
Yeah.
People want to help.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't know how.
That's right.
And especially, you know, when you go through childhood cancer, like people just, you know, a child pulls at those heartstrings.
Goodness.
You know, the opportunity is out there. Just search for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say, you know, time is precious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't, you know, as hard as it is to not get consumed in everything going on, you know, i.e. doctor's visits, you know, all the outside noise, like focus on that child or your other children, or because it's, you don't get it back.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. None of us.
You don't get it back. So, I mean, those are probably my two big things.
Toni, how about you?
Like I just said, you're not promised tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, part of my grief journey and what I'm working on is stop asking myself what if or second guessing, because you can't get that time back. And I would say, I know I've had a lot of moms reach out. I feel like, I don't know how this relates, but advocating for your child.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Good.
Like I said, we went into every appointment with a notes app with questions, and, you know, a lot of people go in there vulnerable and the doctors are giving you all information, but advocating.
Yeah, they're the experts, the doctor, but you're the expert on your child.
Yeah.
And so that is such a huge part of it. And why do you think, it's kind of the last thing here, you know, the faith journey is hard. The difficulty of going on what if, or, you know, the stages of grief, which include that bargaining piece. That's like, if I could have done this or done, you know, like I think that's what you're saying. Part of your recovery right now is just trying to say, I did the best I could, give yourself some grace. But how important is it for you guys to feel like, and this is really why we do this podcast, is like, for you to level up is to go, we're going to take what Noelle went through and we're going to turn it into something positive. Why is that so important for you to do that? I mean, you're months out of this thing and you've already created an organization that is financially giving and giving hope to people. Christmas, what a beautiful thing. Why is that so important? Why is that so urgent for you? It feels urgent that you do that.
I know people did think we were crazy because we started a nonprofit 2 months after she passed away.
Yeah. I think it's incredibly brilliant. It's beautiful.
Noelle's journey, like I said before, she was so strong.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people might say that about their kids, but she just kept on, and she faced every obstacle with such grace and determination, and all the PT sessions that she went through, she might have complained, but she did it, and it just astonished everybody. And I think, you know, we had this adrenaline, I feel like, that Noelle passed on to us, and our voice might be really small, and childhood cancer is rare, as they say, but when Noelle passed away, that was our life for the past year, and we found it as a way just to keep going.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to, I know being in that chair, it's lonely. It's a small world. And that was my goal and our goal, to help people that were in our seats or in our seats right now.
Yeah, I would say it's our way of staying connected with the community. You know, as hard as, you know, our journey was, and, you know, as much as we learned, like, it's kind of useless if we don't pass that knowledge along. You know, someone else is dealing with it right now.
That's right.
Right now.
Or something else, right?
Yeah. And, you know, to have all that information and, you know, just kind of flesh flush it away makes no sense. So how we can help, just give back or, say, hey, we've been there. That's all someone needs sometimes is, I've been in your shoes. It might not be exactly the same, probably never will be, but, if we can just pick them up a little bit, that's our goal. But like I said, staying connected with that community means a lot to us because for 1 year of Noel's life, that community is all we knew.
Yeah.
So like to, disconnect from it completely, which I'm sure many people do, it just doesn't make sense to us.
It's inspiring. It's brilliant. It's courageous. I don't know who would tell you you're crazy after 2 months to jump right into that. I think it's what a healing process to get involved with is to go, I'm going to make sure that Noel's strength is, I like how you said the adrenaline gets pushed into the work that you guys are doing, that she has a legacy. And thank you guys for being here and sharing so vulnerably. And noelstrong.org. Give to this thing, man. And thank you guys for just your honesty and for hanging out.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Living on Incline. Hit subscribe and share. And thank you. God bless you guys.
Hey, thanks again for joining us on Living on Incline, sponsored by Recovery Life. Would you do us a favor and just hit that subscribe button, share with your friends. And again, we want to explore our full God-given potential and see what we are capable of. So again, hit that subscribe button, and thank you so much for joining us on Living on Incline.